Morning all, here we go again. I hope you had a nice weekend, although it probably doesn't seem much like a weekend in a way. It's a sort of strange scenario, but the weather seems to be brilliant again. Isn't it amazing? Absolutely amazing. We had one bad day of weather, or should we say a good day for the garden, and here we are. Now, what do you think of Helen's handiwork? Yep, I let her have a go, so I have my new hairstyle now. And I'll let you be the judges there. So, and while you're contemplating that, let's talk about a few things. My father, Mr. Bridge, is progressing. He's still in hospital, so he's had to stay in a bit longer. But I managed to get him on WhatsApp so that he could see most of his cousins in a Zoom meeting. Gosh, we would not have been using that language a week, sort of 2 months ago. But there you go. So he managed to see at least, I would say, 14 of his grandchildren. And he's definitely feeling a bit better. And on that note, thank you very much for your contributions to the charity. That's been wonderful, and my father really appreciates that. We're just raising a little bit of money there for on the Just Giving site for Cancer Research UK, which of course this is my father's second go at beating cancer, and he seems to be doing pretty good at it as well. And of course my mother beat it herself before she sadly passed away of other things. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Well, first of all, notice the blankness behind me on my right. Well, it's probably on, I can't work it out, left as you look at it for the screen. There is no picture up there. And for those of you who need to know, that is Brian Powell's fault. For some unknown reason, he only bought me 3 suit symbols. So he's looking for the 4th one. So that is his fault. So I apologise, there is no heart. But if he does find one, and he orders one online or something like that, we'll have it up as soon as it comes. Hint, hint, Brian Powell there. And we're going to talk about losing tricks. A lot of people have been talking about losing tricks. So we are going to talk. Now, we are going to start at the very beginning. So we're going to be talking about losers today. And even if you don't want to use the losing trick count, counting losers is very valuable. So hopefully everybody will be happy to do a little bit of a revision, or for some of you, brand new stuff. What else? Well, we played some bridge on Friday, and thank you very much for so many of you joining. You great big apologies for the unbelievably abrupt end. There was a few complications when we were setting up. And so I ended up having to get, because I'm not as important enough on there to be able to set it up myself, I had to get Pete to set it up for me. And we got everything right, but we forgot to change the number of boards to 12. So when I was going to get to board 12, I would have told everybody watching, by the way, we are going to disappear soon. Unfortunately, what happened is we all disappeared after 8 boards, and I know a lot of you were then searching to see what happened. So the answer to a number of questions which said, did my team come back from the thrashing they were getting? The answer is no, we got thoroughly thrashed. But we are going to look at one of the hands later, which actually was rather swingy. We lost 14 imps on it, we might have gained 11. So only 25 imps there. So I will show you that and we'll talk it through. And everybody made a mistake, including me on the board. So, and that's what's fascinating about bridge. We can have everybody making mistakes, and some, I'm afraid, making 2 or 3. So we'll look at that. I've had permission of 1 at least. And I'm just going to mention one thing. I am going to mention one sort of little offer that we're going to do each week, if you're happy with that. So the offer this week, let me just go, is on a set of DVDs. So if anybody is interested, that's Bernard Magee's set 6 of the DVDs. And just counting defence, extra tricks and no trumps, supporting partner, finessing, which of course is the subject we dealt with last week, distributional hands, and coping with preempts. And we're doing that at £59 for the set of 6. And you can get that from mrbridge.co.uk or phone the office. Okay. So that's that. That's all the things. Let's get on with the quiz. So we've got to look at the quiz. I've forgotten what I'm doing next. So there you go. So that's the quiz. That is the quiz. And 1 heart, 1 spade from you, 2 no trumps from your partner. Stop, 2 2 no trumps from your partner. It says you're vulnerable. That shouldn't really make any difference on this hand. Vulnerability when you're just bidding in a non-competitive auction is rarely going to be important. Okay, 1 heart, 1 spade, 2 no trumps. There seems a bit of sinking problems, not quite sure with that, so I apologise for that. We will try and solve that for some of you another day, but I'm not sure we'll have much chance now. So 1 heart, 1 spade, stop, 2 no trumps. Okay, let's look at our PowerPoint. All right, we're going to talk about the losing trick count, but mostly today it's going to be just the losers. Okay, so first of all, let's understand what the losing trick count is. It is a method of hand evaluation. It's a method of hand evaluation, okay, which allows you to sum up your whole hand, but only when you've got a fit, and that's important. What the losing trick count is going to do is it's going to say, I love your shortages and I love your lengths. Let's put them all together and give it a value. And that's really helpful because when we use the point count, we can struggle sometimes to catch up with this brilliant effect. But it only works when you've got a fit, because it says a singleton is good, and a singleton isn't particularly good in a no trump contract. So, simple example there, you've got an 8-card fit in hearts, so at that point, once you've discovered it, you could in theory use the losing trick count. As I say, today we're actually going to talk about counting losers, okay, but I'll quickly sum up what the basic losing trick count is. Don't worry about this today, we're not going to look at this today, okay, but in theory this is what you do when you use the losing trick count, okay. Count your losers, we're going to do that in a moment. You would then add your partner's losers, which seems a bit odd, but actually all you're doing is what you would do in the point count system. When your partner opens the bidding, you assume he's got 12. In the losing trick count, you need to know what he's got. So for an opening bid, for example, minimum hand would be 7 losers. Do not worry about that now if you've never done it. We'll be looking closely at how that works another day this week. And then we subtract from 18 to get what we should bid to. Okay, and that's a lot of work because you've got to count your losers, you've got to add your partner's losers and take from 18. That ends up being quite a lot of arithmetic, which could go wrong. But as you'll see when we look at it further on, probably on Wednesday, I tend to just use what's called the comparison method, so there is no subtraction, addition and things like that at all. Well, there's one, but so that'll be easier. But do not worry about this today. All we're going to do today is we are going to talk about counting losers. Someone says, where's 18 come from? We will talk about that later. Some of you will have used the term 24, but we will explain that when we come to it later. Okay. So let's count our losers. There's 3 basic rules. We are going to add another rule to this. Okay. We are going to add one more rule to this, but we'll start off with the 3 basics. This is for people who've never counted losers before, and then we'll add one extra rule, which is important. So the first rule is you only count the first 3 cards in any suit. Okay, you only count the first 3 cards in any suit. So let's just put up a suit there. There's 5 cards. Okay, how many losers do you think there are in that suit? And the answer is 3, because you only count the first 3 cards. They're all losers in a way, but in the losing trick count, we only count the first 3 cards. So we actually blank out the 5 and the 4 there. We count them, the top 3 cards, I should say. So there's 3 losers there. Okay. Now, the second rule, in a sense, is very logical. It says the only cards that can be winners are the ace, king, and queen. Okay. So, for example, if you've got the ace, king, and 6 as a suit, you just have 1 loser. Okay. Remember, someone who put 5 there, remember you're only counting the first 3 cards in a suit. So the ace, king, queen, we just have 1 loser there. Remember the 6 is a loser. And the last one, droppable honours count as losers. Dubious wordage there. Okay, but I think it's pretty obvious what droppable honours means. What it means is if your high card would fall underneath the play of all of the other higher cards, then it would be droppable. So a singleton king would be regarded as a loser because it would drop underneath the ace, and a doubleton queen would also be regarded as a loser, well, two losers as it were, because it would fall underneath the ace king. So there, for example, a doubleton queen would count as two losers, okay, because the queen would fall underneath the play of the higher honours. Bear in mind, there will be, as we'll look at this, particularly probably the end of this week, we'll be looking at slightly more advanced techniques where we use hand evaluation, and we will see that queen doubleton isn't very nice when you start an auction, but suddenly if your partner bids the suit, it gets rather nice indeed, because that queen is going to be very helpful. So things will change, but in the basic losing trick count, that's how you do it. So let's look at some hands and just do some counting. Here's your first one. And have a look at that. Now, usually get a bit of laughter if that's a live seminar, because obviously one assumes it is 13 losers, and in many ways it is 13 losers. But the point is, for the purposes of the losing trick count, it is just 12. Okay, you don't have to worry why. Okay, you just have to understand that we only count the first three cards in the suit, and the reason is because the two hands are going together, it will give us the right answer, as it were. Okay, so clearly there's 13 losers literally, but in the losing trick count there are just 12. Okay, I hope everybody's happy with that, and certainly I've got a string of 12s on my right here. Okay, the three of clubs isn't counted as a loser. Okay, here's another one. Again, these hopefully will be straightforward for you who have done it before. Bear in mind, if you have never counted losers before, you will find this a lot more difficult than most, and you'll be taking your time, whereas most people will come up with an answer quite quickly if they've done it before. Okay, so this one I want you to count your losers. We're going to go through it suit by suit. And what I'm going to do is draw a line, and that's crucial here because of the rule that says we only count the first three cards in a suit. Any cards that are on the right hand side of the line are not going to be counted. So let's just do that. 2 in spades, 2 in hearts, because of course the ace is a winner, and then the number of cards you've got in diamonds and clubs, so 3 and 2, and I think most of you have got 9. Don't forget, we are not counting the fourth cards in the suit. You're counting the top 3 cards. So in hearts and spades there, you are not counting your 2s. That's why the answer is 9. And the reason is, if you're playing in a suit contract, very often either the fourth round will be ruffed or it will be an established card. So that's why the losing trick count is doing it. It's trying to give you a full value of the hand. Remember though, you've got to have a fit for it to be valuable. Okay, have a look at this one. So here, let's just put up that line again. I've given you some 5 card suits here. Suddenly you're getting a lot more cards on the right hand side of the line. And of course, if you have a fit, 5-5 hands are wonderful. 5-5 come alive, I think is one of Andrew Robson's phrases. Very good phrase as well. 5-5 come alive. If you find a fit with a 5-5 hand, get excited. And the losing trick count is going to help you with that. Let's count them. 1 in spades, 2 in hearts, 2 in diamonds, and 1 in clubs. 6 losers. Now what you're going to understand if you're coming across this is the lower the number, the better the hand. Basically, pretty logical. If you have 0 losers, clearly you have a lot of winners in your hand, so you've got a very good hand. Okay, so the ace queen are winners, the 4's a loser. The 5-4 obviously losers, the 7-6 losers, the 7. We are not counting the cards on the right hand side. Okay. Yep, 6-5 come alive as well, but 5-5 as well. Okay, I think he uses both of them, for those of you who see that. Okay, so lovely. Okay, 6 losers, a really good hand. And what the losing trick count is saying is, if you find, let's say your partner's got king to 5 spades, you're going to have great fun with this hand. Okay, however, if your partner's got 5 hearts and 5 clubs and you don't have a fit, all you've got is 10 points. Okay, and that's the crucial thing. The losing trick count is going to work really well if you've got a fit. Okay, try this one. Well, if it is only 6-5 come alive, it should be 5-5 come alive. Okay. All right. So you mention you only count the top 3 cards in the suit. The top 3 cards in the suit. So let's look at this one. I've got the extra rule in here. So let's put the line in again. So in spades, there are 6 cards in spades. You count the top 3 cards, one of which is of course the ace. You ignore the last 3. So in spades, there are just 2 losers. I hope everybody's happy with that. In hearts, remember, only the ace, king, queen count as winners. So the jack is a loser. Okay, so that would count as 3 losers. Okay. In diamonds, the king is droppable. It would fall underneath the ace. So that would count as 1. And in clubs, you have 2. Okay. Okay, so there you go. That's 8. So well done for those who got 8. Remember, if you haven't done the losing trick count before, this will be a difficult thing, and we all get things wrong. Getting used to it takes time, and it's worth having a go. As we'll see over this week, we are going to find that that things are going to hopefully become a bit clearer for those of you who aren't used to it. Okay, have a look at this one. And I'm putting this one up because I'm going to compare it to another 4 loser hand. Oops, I've given away the answer there. Okay, so here the answer is coincidentally 4 because it's the 4 fours. That 3 of clubs does not count as a loser. So it is 1 in each suit, of course. 4, 4, 4, 4. So it's 4 losers and 3. The 3 of clubs doesn't count. It's a lot of points. Okay, all right. Let's put this hand up in contrast. Okay. Now that's a wild hand. Only 14 points, but what distribution? And what you've got to remember, if you get a misfit on this hand, if your partner's got 7 clubs and 3 hearts and whatever, all your hand's probably going to make is 4 tricks. Whereas if your partner has spades here, imagine your partner had queen to 5 spades, you could imagine, only losing 2 hearts. It's an extraordinary hand if you've got a fit. The losing trick count is assuming you've got a fit. It's going to get excited about this hand. So we put a line down there, 1 in spades, 2 in hearts, 1 in diamonds, and obviously don't forget the V, O and I void are not counted in this equation. There's 0. Okay, so what I'm going to do, of course, is put these 2 hands together. So let's put them together. There they are. And what the losing trick count is doing is it's suggesting these 2 hands are worth the same. They both have 4 losers, and yet the hand on your right has twice as many points. I've got a lot of phrases coming up on my right there. 5, 7, of course. I've never heard of that. Yes, so 28 points compared to 14 points. But if you have a fit, do you know, you might even prefer the hand on your left. Imagine your partner's got queen jack to 4 spades. If your partner's got queen jack to 4 spades, okay, where are your losers in the hand on your left? Surely you'll be able to rough the diamonds good. Let's say your partner's got a couple of diamonds. After you've drawn trumps, ace, king of diamonds, rough a diamond, all the diamonds are winners. Suddenly, you've only got 2 losers. Whereas in the other hand, yes, you'll make 4 spades from the ace, king, queen, jack, but you might have 3 losers. So it's interesting, but what the losing trick count is suggesting, is that if you've got a fit, I'm going to evaluate your lengths, I'm going to evaluate your singletons, and try and give you an assessment of your hand. Okay, and so it's suggesting that hand's worth about 22, 23 points, which it probably is. A 6 card suit, a 5 card suit, and a void. If you've got a fit, it's an exciting hand. Okay, all right. One last rule, of course, and those who play the losing trick count already know this, and that's the queen. We've got to sum up the queen. When we use the losing trick count, generally we're going to have the king and the ace as similar. And we'll see later on in the week that we might have to change that a little. But for the most part, kings and aces will shuffle them in the pack. But the queen is a rather strange one. Okay, we've got to downgrade it a bit. Look at these 2 hands in the rules that I've just given you here. Okay, those both have the same number of losers, 7 losers. Oops, went a bit too far there. 7 losers. Okay. Now, with 7 losers, clearly one hand's a lot better than the other. Okay, clearly one hand's a lot better than the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this Queen of Hearts in half. Okay, so we are going to cut the Queen in half. So our fourth rule is this. The Queen by itself counts half. Now, it's not ideal having halves. We don't like it. I could say it's bad or good. But with the Queen, you've got to be more precise. You've got to say it's half. And if you've got a half, it's tricky. Okay? So here, what do I mean by a Queen by itself? What I mean is if the Queen is with the Ace or the King or the Jack, it is stronger. And I'm prepared to count it as a full winner. But if it's by itself, I'm going to count it as half a loser. Okay, let's try this one. Queen 4-3, we're going to count as 2.5. I've extended the line slightly there. So it's annoying, we've got to count at half. King Queen 4, we're just going to count as 1 loser. And Queen Jack 4 would be 2 losers. Remember, the Jack is always a loser, but the Queen is supported by the Jack. And the idea is the way the losing trick count works is you're going to be combining with your partner. Okay, so let's say your partner had in the middle suit the King Queen 4. If your partner had the Ace, he would count Ace to 3. He'd count 2 losers, you'd count 1, and that works out as 3 winners and 3 losers, which is the way it works. We'll come to that. Okay, so it's quite important that if you've got an honour with your Queen, you do count it as the full value. Queen 10-9 mentioned on my right there, that will come up when we talk about hand evaluation. Okay, so the losing trick count is not perfect. It doesn't count for Jacks, 10s and 9s, and we will see that at the end. But this is very much, we're talking the basic counting of losers here, and the rule 4 is necessary. So let's do 2 more hands and then we'll take a break. Okay, what did you make this one? Understand that there's a lot of questions coming in here about it. The losing trick count is a very basic form of evaluation. It is a very good form of evaluation, but as you get used to it, so those of you who've been using it 2, 3, 4 times, for 2 or 3, 4 years, then you should be in a point to be able to use hand evaluation and adapt your losing trick count to be more accurate. Okay, but when you start using it, you want to use it in its basic form, and you will get better, and you will find you get good results with it. But every so often you think, oh, why did I do badly on that hand? And there will be a good reason, as we'll see on Friday probably. Okay, let's count these. 1 in spades, 1 in hearts, 2.5 in diamonds, and 2 in clubs. Okay, so the Queen in spades is with the King, it counts as a full winner. The Queen in hearts is with the Ace, it counts as a full winner. And there's a good reason for this. Okay, your partner may well have the Ace of spades, so the Queen is full value, but also if your partner had 3 small, if the Ace is in the right place, you've got a good chance of making the Queen as well, and the same in hearts. Even if your partner doesn't have the King, you've got a 50-50 chance of making that as an extra trick. So it's worth closer to 1 than half. So that was 6.5. And let's give the hardest one you're ever going to see. So you won't get a harder hand than this, so please understand that when I do this in a live seminar, I usually get at least 5 different answers for this particular hand. So what I've done is I've put every single rule in this particular hand. So well done if you get the answer right on this one. It's not easy. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of time there. I'll tell you when I get someone with the right answer. Not yet. Yes, David Barker gets the prize for the first one up with the correct answer. So well done. There's a few more coming through now, so let's count them ourselves. Okay, 2.5 in spades, the Queen is by itself. In hearts, the Queen is bolstered by the Jack, so it is a full winner, but remember the Jack is a loser. The Jack's always loser. So in hearts, you would count 2 losers. In diamonds, of course, the normal 2 losers. And in clubs, it is a droppable honour. Okay, now that's a complicated one. We get used to it. So please, most hands are relatively straightforward. What I've done there is included every single rule. Okay, so a lot of you will have got that wrong. Okay, but as you can see there, 8.5. Okay, what you need to do is, if you've never used the losing trick count, just deal with yourself 13 cards constantly and keep saying, what have I got? What have I got? Yeah, okay, you won't have someone to mark it for you, but try and practice and try and hopefully get the right answer. Okay, because practice makes perfect. And don't forget, even if you never use the losing trick count, it's handy to know what people mean in the conversation. They'll say, oh, I had an 8 loser hand, or a 7. At least now you'll have some idea of what that means. Okay, so that is the counting of losers. Okay, now we're going to have, as I say, next on Wednesday we will look at the losing trick count itself, how we're going to use it. Okay, and then we are going to then look a little bit further on hopefully Friday. So let's have a look at the quiz. We'll remind ourselves of that. So you responded 1 spade to your partner's 1 heart opening. This is Akol we're playing. I should have said that. Sorry, Akol. And a 2 no trump rebid has the same meaning, or should have in Akol, as well as American Standard. 18 to 19 points. But even if you did play it as 17 or 18, I think your hand is worth 8 points here. Ace Jack 10 to 5 spades is a good hand. Okay, a good suit, and I would be adding a point on for that, both for the length and the 10 of spades. Okay, so that's a good suit I want to add a point on, so I would evaluate the hand as close to 8 points. So I'm going for game, but the key on this hand is which game. Okay, if someone plays an artificial 3 clubs in this hand, it's not called Puppet Stamen. Okay, so don't worry about that, anybody who doesn't know it. Okay, so heart, a spade, 2 no trumps. You can play artificial bids here. Clearly, we are playing natural systems. We are playing natural systems here. Okay, and natural systems are perfectly all right. Any bid you make should be forcing to game. That is important. And the point is, from your point of view, I think you could play in any game. Okay, so sorry, not any game, but 4 hearts, 4 spades, or 3 no trumps. Can you see that any of those games could be right? And what you'd love to do is have a chat with partner. If you were allowed to and you didn't have to bid, you'd say, partner, well, what do you think? I've got some hearts. I've got slightly longer spades than I promised because I've only shown you 4. Or would you prefer to play in 3 no trumps? And that is what we're going to try and do. We're going to have a chat. We didn't support hearts on the first round. Bidding 3 hearts here would say, I've got 3, partner. If you've got 5, why don't we play in 4 hearts? If he hasn't got 5, well, then he can carry on bidding. And the beauty is, imagine he had 3 spades. Instead of bidding 3 no trumps, your partner would then bid 3 spades. Thanks for showing me your 3 hearts, partner. I haven't got 5 of them, but I've got 3 spades. How do you feel? And then we would bid 4 spades. And if we didn't have a fit, we'd finish in 3 no trumps. Okay. If you do play a more complicated system, some of you do, clearly I can see by 3 clubs, if that is artificial, you can bid it. But you don't need to play a complicated system here. 3 hearts would say, partner, I've got 3 hearts. Can you choose the best game? So let's look at the hand. There it is. Okay. And as you can see, your partner does have 5 hearts. Bear in mind, if he didn't have 5 hearts, okay, well then he would bid 3 no trumps. Here, if he had 4 hearts and 2 spades, he would bid 3 no trumps. If he had 4 hearts and 3 spades, he would then bid 3 spades. And we would be able to bid 4 spades. And we'd still finish in the right contract. Basically, we're having a chat. It's lovely. 3 hearts. Partner, I'm just being polite, just in case you want to know, I've got 3 of them. Remember, if I'd had 4, I would have supported straight away. Okay, 1 heart, 2 hearts, for example, with this hand. If I'd had 4 hearts, okay, and then your partner would have bid 4 hearts. Okay, 4 hearts is a great contract in 3 no trumps. If they lead a diamond, they would knock out the ace before you can knock out the ace of hearts. So you may well go down in 4 hearts. It's a relatively comfortable contract, I hope. Okay, so that's an important one. And I hope a good number of you got it back. Remember, generally we're playing natural systems. So try and think of the answer you would give if you'd sat down with a partner. You'd say, let's play ACOL. Okay, so I know some of you might play more complicated systems, but here this is standard ACOL, 3 hearts, partner. Let's have a discussion and choose our best game. Okay, here's your next quiz for Wednesday. Okay, have a little look at that. And you're the opening bid. I just want you to choose your opening bid. It's game all. Everybody vulnerable? Everybody vulnerable. So just choose your opening bid. Okay, that's one to ponder. And now we are going to go over here. So let's have a look. Now, I've tried to make this bigger because a few of you were struggling with this. So see how we get on. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. I'm going to put my face up in the left-hand corner there. And this is the crucial hand that we had in our teams match. Once again, apologies for how abruptly that ended. I hope, are going to try it again. I was talking all the way through to the Kibitzers. I'm not sure if any of the other people at the table, players, realised that I was commenting all the way through. I didn't generally say anything about my opponents. I think I might have said something about Pete once. Sorry, Pete. Okay, Pete was playing with me. I had the hand in the north here. Very interesting hand here. One table finished in 5 clubs -1 by East-West. And my table, unfortunately, we finished in 5 diamonds doubled -4 for 800. So we lost 14 imps on the hand. However, we might have gained 11. So let's see how the auction went. And as I say, everybody made mistakes on this one, including myself. So we'll see. So it's East to open the bidding. And East opened 1 club. Okay. That's simple. That was the first white bid. Now there was a difference of opinion on the south hand. At one table, I think it was Sylvia decided to pass, which is fine. Pete decided to overcall a diamond. It's quite close, actually, with 9 points, but the diamonds have got good strength there. The only interesting thing is that it can be difficult to evaluate later on for partner because he's expecting your strongest strength to be in diamonds, and that made a lot of difference on this hand, interestingly. But I think a diamond is reasonable. Okay, it's definitely better than a double. Double should be an opening hand, don't forget. So it went 1 club, 1 diamond, and very odd bids here. Okay, so at one table it went 1 club pass from West, which I didn't really understand. I don't think I'm ever going to pass a 1 club bid with that hand, but that's fine. This table, generally, what's interesting about this hand is it covers a lot of the things we've covered over the last couple of weeks. We've got a lot of finesses, as we're going to see, and this negative double. I would usually play the double here to say, partner, I have both majors. Okay, so I would have responded 1 heart probably with the West hand because I like to bid a 4-card major before supporting a minor. Okay, but this West, I think it was Fran, doubled, which is fine if you're allowed to do it in your system. For me, that would show both 4-card suits. Okay, but that double is crucial in the play of the hand. It did give a lot away about the West hand, as we'll see. Now, I bid 2 spades here, which some of you will find odd, and my partner didn't understand it either. It's a slightly more expert technique. It's what's called a jump fit bid. When you jump in a competitive auction, there is no reason for me to jump here. If I've only got spades, I could just bid 1 spade. When you make a jump in a competitive auction, what you're trying to do is do 2 things at the same time. Partner, I've got wonderful spades, but actually, I like your diamonds as well. How do you feel? Okay, and it's a beautiful bid, and it works fantastically in this auction. Well, I hoped it did, but it didn't quite. We'll see. Now, East made an overbid here. 4 clubs. 4 clubs should probably have 7 here. Okay. However, Leslie decided on 4 clubs, and I think South should bid 4 spades here. Okay, South has got a really good hand here. Although only 9 points, it's got a singleton in the opponent's suit and 3 cards spades to suit. So I think this should actually be a 4 spade bid here, and that makes my bidding much easier. But it went pass. 5 clubs from West, And then I came up with the dubious bid of myself. I bid 5 diamonds. Okay. Okay. A number of people saying fit jumps only in majors. Here in a competitive auction, when West has made a double here, okay, it makes no sense to need to jump naturally, okay, particularly as they're suggesting spades. So here, 5 diamonds. I think that's an overbid. I should only be bidding there if I know we've got a double fit, which we did have, but that's another matter. And of course that got doubled. And it went pass, pass, pass. Okay, so what happened in the play? Well, this is the thing. What happened in the play? Well, again, we had a few mistakes in the play. The Jack of Clubs was a perfect lead. Okay, it went small from dummy. Now, the first mistake was East's, because I think East knows what East wants to do. Both of the opponents should be thinking, oh my goodness, those spades look as though they're going to make. We need to make our heart tricks quickly. But I think as a defender, I would want to be leading hearts from the East hand. So I think East should put the Ace of Clubs on, well, or the Queen of Clubs is probably better, and then lead a heart. But actually, East allowed the Jack of Clubs to hold. Now, I still think probably West should lead a heart here, okay? However, it's much more difficult for West. I think East made it difficult for West. So West decided, somewhat dubiously, to lead a spade, because I think that shouldn't work. I think on the bidding, North knows the spades are there. So North won the ace, which is normal, and set about drawing trumps. Now, this is tricky. On the auction, I think we know the trumps are probably 3-1. The difficulty for North, and this is for Declara South, is that he can't get back to dummy. He's guessing the spades are breaking 3-1 on the bidding, so I think he can't take 2 finesses. So I think he should get this right. He plays small diamond, small, and if he manages to play the king here, believe it or not, he is going to make this contract. Okay, the king of diamonds would win. He can just knock out the ace of diamonds. Okay, and what can the defence do? Declara can win whatever they return. Let's say they try a heart now. Declara would win the ace of hearts, draw the last trump, and I think that Declara thinks that West has got 3 spades, so that he could actually now finesse the Jack of Spades. Let's do it. And I'm afraid to say for the defence, those 4 spades are winners, believe it or not. So we would claim 11 tricks. And that would be the end of that. Now that's my happy story. Unfortunately, 5 diamonds double went 4 off. So as you can imagine, it made a slight difference in the play, but it was great fun. I hope you enjoyed watching. We're going to try it again, I think, on Friday. We will make it a bit more sensible. We'll be playing 12 boards. We will play 6 boards. We will stay open as a table, but we'll have a 5-minute break at that point. You are welcome to chat to me. I was only chatting to about 5 or 6 people because nobody else talked to me, but I was talking, I think, supposedly we had over 300 people watching. So well done. That was, I enjoyed it. I didn't get the result I wanted, but during this hand, I took at least 3 gulps of wine. Okay. My ID is AJFM. For those of you who are asking, it's Alfred James Forrest Magee, the initials of my son. Okay. So you just go on there and find us. I think we're going to call the table Bernard Magee Bridge, or you search for AJFM. Okay, so what have we talked about today? Let's go back. Hope you enjoyed that hand. It is an interest, lots going on, but have a look at it yourself. Go back to it, stop it, pause it, have a look. Amazing, and it's amazing. I mean, I was being critical there, but we all made mistakes, and yet that's just one hand. I remember I used to do a seminar on one hand. You know, just one hand, and it used to be an hour because there's so many things going on. It's rather like that overtaking the Jack of Clubs lead to switch and make things easy for a partner. You know, yes, you both could get it right, but sometimes it's easier from one side or the other. So, just going to remind you of the charity that we're raising money for, and and that's on behalf of my mother and father, and a little offer on the DVD, so do look out for that. But and I usually put up the quiz on, so there we go. It's just an opening bid. Have fun. It's basic ACOL, but it is part of the system. Okay, all right. So have a go at that, and we will have some fun. Enjoy the weather as it is, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Thank you very much.